Hi, and welcome to the presentation on the English Department's Annotated Bibliography rubric. Just to review some of the elements and how I teach it, so how you can look at this. So you can see there's two different sections. There's content, three different sections actually. There's the content, the analysis, and then the language stuff, right? Did you format it correctly? Did you write complete sentences? So the first element under content is the signal phrase. And if you remember the way I teach it, I say you need to have a who, and which is describe the author or the publication and how they're qualified to speak to the topic. Then a what, a one-sentence summary. Then a what else, which is a summary of the supporting points and the supporting evidence. So either doing that as two blocks or going back and forth, but either way it has to be there. And then how, the evaluation piece. So this first piece is the who. Actually, this first piece right here, just that first half of the sentence, is the who. Evaluate the author, the credentials, the publication. You want to, if you have the author's name and his credentials and the title and the publication title, all of that goes in there, along with some discussion of the author's qualifications, right? Remember, there are situations in which you don't have an author, and then you have to think in terms of the organization's qualifications, or you have to think in terms of the publication's qualifications, one or the other. So, but either way, you have to have this piece, the credentials or qualifications. How is this person qualified or not? Because it can be a negative evaluation to speak on this topic. The second half of this is the who, or I'm sorry, excuse me, not the who, the what. That is, what is this about? The one sentence summary. Now, on this rubric, it says in the first sentence. I don't require that. I think that's kind of dictating how a person writes their sentences, so I don't care about that piece. So don't worry about the first sentence part, but you have to have a one sentence summary of the main point of the article. This right here is the what else that I talk about. What are the main supporting points, and what research, what supporting evidence, what details are used. Don't go crazy. Don't include unnecessary detail. Keep it broad, but have a little bit of summary of the content of the article. What's in there, what's not. This piece, and I'm doing this lecture almost entirely because of this piece right here. Notice this is not, this and this are pretty much the same size, right? This has an important impact on your grade. Oftentimes students skip this analysis and evaluation part, or they just do this half of it and they don't do this half. If you don't do this, if you don't do both elements, you're going to be in trouble with your grade. So the first one is evaluation of the effectiveness, currency, reliability, and bias of the source. So we talked about that. I gave you a more extensive list on my how-to video, but make sure that is it a good source evaluation is in there. Then the second part, and this is the one people skip a lot, is a sophisticated and thoughtful analysis of source-to-source and source-to-thesis connections. How the source supports, contradicts, detracts from, or adds to the academic conversation. So in more practical terms, you've read a number of articles, maybe let's say 5 for the annotated bibliography. How does your source that you're analyzing right now compare to the others? Is this one taking a more research-based approach? Is it like the second one in that it takes a more research-based approach but different than the other 3? Does it support the same ideas as the other 5, or does it contradict the others? Think about how similar or different yours is, not just in the main point, right, but in the supporting ideas and the evidence. How is it similar? How is it different from your other sources? Make sure you do that. That's how you get to that synthesis level, and that's the highest level of thinking that we want you to be at for research work. The rest of this is pretty standard. Sentence level, academic language, all the usual rules. No use of first person. I thinks, I feels are not in here. Always stay in the third person. Proofread it. punctuate as correctly as you can. And remember that MLA format is different, that you need to use the hanging indent on the citation, and that you need to have the paragraph beneath that citation. So if you don't remember that, the video will be posted there for you to review it. Okay, thank you.